show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And this is a Saturday evening live stream. I missed Wednesday due to family matters. I missed Friday evenings due to family matters. Once again, family matters trumps everything else. And therefore, I was not around. But tonight, a special edition. Because why? Time to get started, ladies and gentlemen. Wealth building. You have no way around this for your future. Hard work is required. Weakness won't do in this situation because otherwise you're going to be left behind, holding nothing because the cost of living is going to increase. And welcome to the SSN Nation Saturday Night Special Edition. Stop struggling now gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, thank you so much for being here. But more importantly, please share the videos because you never know who's out here looking for something. You never know who's out here trying to find something. And you never know what ideas can come to mind when you start discussing business, wealth building, finances, and more. And welcome once again till tonight. And before I forget, SSN Nation, SSN Lifestyle Punta Cana Investors Forum is this week. So, once again, in the Dominican Republic, we're going to find out what's been happening over there, see if there's some new project that makes it worthwhile to invest. I still haven't made that video about what is going to happen in the Dominican Republic, but I will over this weekend before we leave to go there. So once again, make sure you smash that like button so the YouTube gods know that you're in the house tonight. This isn't a Friday. This isn't a Wednesday. This isn't a Monday live stream. This is a Saturday night special SSN Nation style. And let me see who's in the house tonight because I do see a couple of comments. I see El Monte. El Monte, welcome to the SSN Nation Saturday Night Live edition. Thank you so much for being in the house. I salute you too, sir. Thank you so much for being here. Mr. Compensation, another guy that's here. The man of the hour, my man. Go check out his channel, ladies and gentlemen. It's Mr. Compensation. You smash on his profile, his icon. Go subscribe. He has a lot to tell people. He's still holding back a little bit, but he's got it in him. He's one of them superstars. He's ready for the wealth building 2025 style. So thank you so much for being here. And you know, let's go. Because weakness is not going to work now, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to actually have to put in the hard work. That's right. This isn't Hollywood out here. This is hard work. And by the way, all those guys in Hollywood that produces TV shows, movies, miniseries, they're actually putting in the work for years. That's right. Rarely do you just get to show up and be a superstar. You have to put in the work, ladies and gentlemen, and somebody has to believe in you. Well, I believe that you can do it, ladies and gentlemen, but you're going to have to put in the work. Weakness is not allowed. So that is the topic of tonight because a lot of you have been sitting on the sidelines and we've been talking about the Yield Max ETFs. We talked about this for the last, 2 years. I want to show you guys something. This past Friday, now that I have my computer for the next 2 days, I don't have to go by our live stream. I'll be able to show you something on screen because this is part of the wealth building. First things first, down below in the description box, you have Robinhood. These are brokerages. This is where you buy stocks. This is where you buy dividend stocks. Robinhood down below, please use the link. It's an affiliate link. Webull, please use the link. It's an affiliate link. Moo, please use the link. It's an affiliate link. These are all stock market apps that you can use. All right. Now, you get free shares of stock, 1 free share from Robinhood. You can get up to 10 free shares of stock if you deposit $100 in Webull. And on Moo, you can get around 5 free shares of stock as long as you deposit $100 or more. And they kick it to you after 60 days. All right, fair enough. But I'm about to show you something on the screen because part of wealth building is to make sure that you are making a little bit of extra money. Now, how do we do this? Look right here, what we've been talking about, just on a weekly payout schedule. All of these on the left-hand side, this is the ticker symbol for the stock market, CHPY for everybody on podcast. Tonight, live stream will be short, and then it'll be up on podcast as well, iHeart, iTunes, and a bunch of others. GBTY. Again, what they do is option income, the premiums from option trading. They don't do anything with the actual stocks themselves. So you see CHPY Semiconductor, they're paying out weekly, no distribution this week. This is what happened on Friday. All right. GPT, AI and tech. So they hold and they do options and trading and puts, and the fees and the premiums they collect, they distribute to the dividend holders. They actually are trading the stocks, but the dividends are paid from the premiums and the fees that they receive. So 23.6 cents per share that you own goes to you. Distribution rate is 35% of the stock market value at the time. All right, this could change every week. This could go up, this could go down. It's a every weekly payout. LFGY, crypto and tech, they paid 41.7 cents. Their distribution is 69.83%. Are you getting this yet? QDTY, I'll just keep going, weekly, 21.99 cents. RDTY, 35.9 cents. SDTY, 22.7 cents. Now, you have the chart in front of you. In fact, I don't know if this link can be seen in the chat room, but I'm going to leave it here just for everybody who watches this, hopefully the whole thing, so you can click on it. I don't know if it's going to allow it, but if it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Nothing I can do about it, but you can go actually look at the chart yourself and determine if this is part of your wealth building strategy. I do know this. If somebody tells me, hey, Eric, I think I can get 40% or 30% or 20% return on my money every year, I don't know why you wouldn't look, and I don't understand why you would not study. Weakness ain't gonna cut it. You have to study. You have to put in the work. You have to understand what is happening to make sure that your money goes in good or the best that you can figure that it can. That's what you need to do. Look at ULTY. This is a whole nother thing you got to go study, but that is 8 cents, 8.2 cents every week. But again, these all go up and down. It depends on the option income money that comes in. It's not standard. YieldMax, YMAG, again, 9 cents, 9.73 cents. YMAX, 12.89 cents. So you can do things like, what happens if I had $100? How much do these stocks cost? And then is it worth it for me to get 1% or 0.5% per month? That is the $1 million question. Here's your weeklies from YieldMax ETF. Now, every 4 weeks, this was also a payout. It looks like I'm on the wrong date, though. That looks like April 11th. But nonetheless, another weekly, every 4 weeks, 1 month, every month, there's a payout for these other ones. And once again, Yield SMCY and MSTY are like my favorites. I like staying with these guys, but you can see 100%, 101%. But that's something you can study. I put the link in the chat room. So everybody watching on replay, you have no excuse to go study. Go find out what's going on. That is how you build your wealth, ladies and gentlemen. That is what you do to make sure that you're doing the damn thing. That's one of the ways. We can only lead you to the water, but I'll start off with some other things because once again, this is not Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. This is not Financial Friday. This is special edition live on Saturday night, SSN Nation style. And so therefore, I will give you some other things that we talk about, such as dividend stocks. Go look at PSEC. Go look at ORC. You want 17% to 20% return on your money? I suggest you go look. Yes, high risk, high rewards. But nonetheless, if you want higher rates, you generally have to take a risk. Now, is it really a risk if the Federal Reserve said, hold on, we're going to step back for a second. We're not going to reduce interest rates on the federal funds rate only because, the tariffs. There's chaos in the markets. So therefore, we should do nothing to see where it settles. We'll talk to you in 3 to 4 months. I like that. That means the market gets to settle down into some sort of a rhythm. Or will it go down due to the tariff? But once again, these are the type of things that you need to understand with regard to wealth building. Some of you may say, Eric, I don't like stocks. I'm not going to mess with stocks. I'm going to tell you what. Top 10% of the wealthiest people own 93% of the stock market. Why would they own 93% of the stock market? Wealth building. They get to manipulate as well. They control a large percentage. So therefore, I'm rocking with them. I'm in the stock market. You need to be in the stock market. Some of you would say, oh, but hold on, Eric, I can't do that. I don't like that. Okay, well, just for you, just a little bit will do you. I have Wealthfront. Down below in the description box, there's a company called Wealthfront. You have $500 up to $4,000. They'll manage it for free. No expenses. What more can you ask for? Link is down below in the description box for that. So again, you're saying, okay, I don't want nothing to do with that, Eric. Okay, fine. Well, guess what happens? What starts happening is I had a conversation with my cousin, CB, and he did something before, and I'll just tell you guys what it is because I'm fascinated by this. Tree cutting. I couldn't believe when the guys came out, and I had to sit there and I'm listening to or seeing a estimate and a quote, and the guy's giving 2 trees $12,000. This is how it all came about. I'm sitting there like, wait a minute, 2 trees, 12 grand? Of course, could not accept that because I was in disbelief. Then the next guy comes and he says, well, the 2 trees will be 8,000. I'm still like, to cut down 2 trees? I'm thinking that's crazy. Then finally somebody comes and says, I'll do it for 5 grand. Well, still 5 grand is a lot of money. So I'm sitting there thinking. Then finally I said, what moves am I going to make for wealth building this year? I said, I need to look into tree cutting business. What's it going to take? Do I have to get a license? Naturally. Do I have to get insurance? Naturally. What else do I need? I need a crew. I need to find people. I need other things to do. Weakness is not going to work. I'm going to have to go out there and find it myself. I'm no expert. I have to start studying about the tree business. Now I find out you need permits in certain occasions. You're going to have to make sure you're not taking out endangered species and trees and things of this nature, flora. I'm saying, okay, that's fine. No problem. So it looks like there's no obstruction. Make sure you have insurance, you're bonded. Make sure you have workers' comp in case somebody gets hurt and all that. Standard issue. If you're in business, that's what happens. But you control your own destiny and you get to charge what you think the job is worth. And if you're in a place where there are a lot of trees, a lot of storms, I think you have people calling you up. When you have places where the insurance companies say, I'm sorry, you have too many trees in your yard, we're not going to insure you. You're in a situation where people are looking to call you up. Sure, you got to advertise like you do any business, but hey, we have social media these days. I think I'm in the wealth building business. I think I'm going to have to go find out about this because I don't think it's very hard to do. First things first, have to find a professional that's willing to work with you to cut down trees and a crew. That's the first things first. The easiest part is getting an LLC or a company name in the state that you're in and licensing and all that. That's easy. You need workers. That's the hard part. Weakness will not do this case situation. Why? Because if you want to do wealth building, you're going to have to do hard work. And sometimes hard work meets opportunity. And opportunity can lead to something else. It starts with tree cutting today. What could it lead to later? Landscaping, weekly, every other week, pruning every month. There's a whole bunch of things that can offshoot from that business. And remember, I'm the guy that talks exponentials. What do I mean by exponentials? What do I mean is if I can do tree cutting, then I get a job for landscaping, then I get a job for pruning, and then it keeps going down the line. Instead of someone's yard, now it's my 1 acres. You see where we're going, ladies and gentlemen. All that is possible, and you have an endless supply of clientele. Thank you. Thank you, government agencies. Thank you, the lack of FEMA. Thank you for all of the things that our system allows for, pain and suffering. And you can help people out by not charging them $12,000 to take out 2 trees. Okay? So there's plenty of room to play. Not enough businesses, I'm sure. That so far has been my preliminary. But once again, that's a business that you control. That is wealth building. Because then 1 crew, 2 crews, 3 crews. Now you're a conglomerate. Now you actually are controlling a lot of space and a lot of dollars coming in the door. You see where I'm going with this? Now, for all of you who say, well, I'm not going to be in that business, I might think of another one. Well, go check out bizbuysell.com. That's right, bizbuysell.com, and go peruse some of the places that are for sale. Businesses that are for sale there could get you into a great position as well, especially when there's no money. How about you take over the business and pay the owner to go sit at home? And in turn, he gives you a price that you're going to be paying down. That's all there for a few businesses because they realize, hey, I can't sell the business for 500 grand, but I could tell somebody to give me $10,000 or $5,000 a month to go sit at home, and I'll give them a little bit of advice, and I'll take some of that, my salary, and then you guys can pay me $10,000 per month towards the purchase price at a said interest rate, of course, 2%, 3%. I'm nice, but that's how you do it. Wealth building 101, ladies and gentlemen, exponentials. So whatever you're starting to do now, you start thinking about, okay, how can I expand it later? That's within the same realm without having to jump all over the map. That's what you can be thinking about with its wealth building. So now you started your own business. We started talking about stocks. We started about business. Business is another way to go. Is that not right? Let me know what you guys think. Whether you see this live or whether you see it on replay, I want to hear what you think. All right. This is going to be a short video, like I mentioned, because I didn't have 2 videos on Wednesday night and Friday night. So I'm coming up on Saturday night. And It's basketball playoffs. It's mini camp for football. But does any of that help you out other than you're watching? Or are you letting 2, 3 hours a day go by without you putting in some work? Well, see, I was talking with CB earlier and we were brainstorming, and actually I'm listening. He's the guy that's done this before. He's giving me some other ideas. I'm sitting there like, oh my God, this can expand to a whole nother arena. So some of you might like that, $100,000 arena or 50,000 or $500,000 arena. Yes, it's possible, but you have to be in the game. You can't just show up and be a newbie. If you're going to show up and be a newbie, you better have a track record of some sort so people will feel confident on hiring you. Well, that's why I like to start small, so I can learn learn the ins and outs. So then when that opportunity does arise, we can go forth and make it happen, and we have everything in place. It does you no good to have opportunity and nothing in place. That is the key to this whole wealth building scenario. All right. Be dangerous, ladies and gentlemen. Be dangerous. Tonight's topic: time to get to wealth building. Hard work is required. Weakness won't do. Sorry. You can only get so far by doing social medias and trying to get money from it. Sooner or later, some of that money could dry up. Artificial intelligence is coming. It's here. And now Google is frightened because that search engine monopoly kind of that they have is about to get hit, because they realize anybody can have a search engine now. So I'm just saying, ladies and gentlemen, it's very, very funny on what's about to happen in the next few years, along with the receding of business in America due to this isolationism, due to this tariff situation. It's going to be very bad out here. So just keep that in mind when you're doing wealth building. Now, let's get on to the big elephant in the room, the real estate game. The real estate game, as a lot of people know, you can become wealthy. Well, you can become wealthy when you have a situation that happened since 1980. When you buy a house for $50,000 and in 2 or 3 years it's worth 75. See? And then 5 years later after that it's worth 150. That scenario is what made home buying a speculative sport. So then you had people flipping, you had people renovating because the house would go up 100,000. So, hey, I'll renovate for 50 if I'm going to make 100 in a matter of 3 months, 2 months. So that was a big industry until it's not, because home prices can't keep going up while people are making the same amount of money or less. Jobs are disintegrating before our eyes. So now, what's the best position to be in? If you have a business that can create jobs, that's even better. Great paying jobs, that's even better. And that's another way of wealth building. If you can get something that people need at a high rate, you win. So once again, real estate. There should be a pause on real estate, meaning because 80% of the population is living paycheck to paycheck, nobody can afford to buy a home that went up $100,000. Homes have to come down, even though people are still going to try to raise the price. But there's going to be a stall, and there's so many more homes coming on the market now. So it's going to be just like it's pre-1980 here shortly, where home prices just trickle up 3%, 2%, 1% a year, staying within and under inflation. So that meant everybody can afford to buy a home. But a home is not an asset. That is the kicker to this whole storyline of why a home is important. So you need your credit, because a home is not really that important, but your credit will be down the line. You have 1 year, 7 months to get this all right, because your rest of your life after that, who knows? Because something has to change here rapidly. Otherwise, it's a doomed situation for United States citizens. You need offshore financing, offshore funding, offshore real estate, offshore businesses. And that's why we do the Dominican Republic, the Punta Cana Investors Forum. And that's why we talk to lawyers, because they can get your business up and operational, or license at least. That's why we go and actually see properties, in case you have an idea of, hey, I like this area over here. I can start a business and do this. Look at all this opportunity. But this doesn't just apply to Dominican Republic. It could be anywhere. Wealth building is an ongoing sport. Wealth building is an ongoing sport. I got to make a t-shirt on that. I like that. Hold on. Let me write this down. Because I'll have to watch this again. Wealth building is an ongoing sport. Hold on. Let me see if that can fit on a t-shirt. Let me see. Possibly. It's possible. But maybe we'll have to do something about that. It's possible. We're going to be back into some more SSN Nation gear for 2025, because 1 year and about, what do we have left here? 1 year and 11, 12, 13 months. 1 year, 13 months is all we have until I ride off into the sunset. So any information and questions you have, now's the time, and you have a year left. All right. Now, what else can you do out here with regard to wealth building? It also goes with something that people don't think about. How about a trust? How about a trust, ladies and gentlemen, that you can actually do yourself? I know this sounds crazy, but imagine that you get to put in a book and you get to write down what you want to have happen to some of your property, some of your belongings, who you want it to go to or not go to. If you want somebody to sell what you're leaving them or not. If it always stays in the trust. It's a blank piece of paper, a blank book, however you want to design it. It's up to you. Now imagine that you just need a notary to stamp it, and you have your family trust. Then you go over and get an EIN, and you say, okay, in the trust, you say we do business. We buy, sell stocks. We do real estate. You list everything you want to do when you have an EIN. And you got to put down who the beneficiary is. You're going to have to put down who controls or who's allowed to do something. So, trustees, you can call it. But who's allowed to act on the behalf of the trust? So then that way, you can actually do business under the trust name. Actually have a brokerage account under the trust name. Not everybody does that. Robinhood does not do that. But Fidelity, Schwab. So you see where you can go. That's part of the wealth building game. Also, you can have a pour over trust. Meaning, let's just say you just have a regular trust, and you say, I want to put my business into a trust, and the business is now the trust. Instead, you could have two separate ones. Let's say you want to do a brokerage account. You can have a trust just specifically for brokerage account. All separate if you want. Not all have to have an EIN number. Wealth building a different way. Entity ownership. With nobody's name on it. It's just an entity. Think about wealth building techniques with that as well. We have a president who has many, many, many trusts, and his kids have many, many, many trusts. Wealthy people have many, many, many trusts. Like I always say, you do what the wealthy people do. Now, that's part of the estate planning. And most of the time, somebody's going to charge you, it could be $5,000, it could be 10 grand, it could be 15, it could be 20. But this is part of wealth building, ladies and gentlemen. And for your future, instead of giving things away. You know how many people have a will because that's what they were taught? Of course, the wealthy people and our judicial system, our government tells people, hey, get a will. Why do you think they tell you to get a will? Isn't America always about money? It's because they know what's going to happen. That means if somebody passes away, that means it goes to probate automatically. And lawyers know this. So the lawyers say that'll be 5 grand, that'll be 10 grand just to talk to you and just to do something for a simple transfer from assets into people's name dictated by the will. But see, the trust does not go to probate. And the same thing that you dictated in a trust, in a will, you could have just done in a trust and saved your family money. It wouldn't have been necessary to go to probate and waste tens of thousands of dollars for no reason. Same thing, just trust instead of a will. Notarize. Same thing. But see, again, the wealthy, they do trust. The not so wealthy, they do wills, because court situations mean money. That also means you can have interference by other family members. There's state laws that a will could invoke into. All of this hurts ordinary citizens, OCs, us. So if you don't know about this, you think you're all good. My mom and my dad, they have a will. You're thinking it's all great until they pass away. And then you find out you have siblings. And then you may find out you have half siblings that you didn't even know nothing about. And guess what? Because it's a will, they get to partake in whatever the state laws are. If you are the son or the daughter, and you are, whether it's the husband or the wife that passes away, if some states, the family of the husband or the wife that passed away can receive part of the estate assets. You don't think that's going to be a great situation for families? When you have people that you don't even know existed rolling up going, hey, I want my 10%. And guess who has to pay for it? Or sell to pay for it? You're not going to be very happy. This is why the wealthy people make sure that kind of crap does not happen. And that's why the poor people always have their assets taken. Stolen, if you will, is what I always called it. Because people would say, man, my great-great-grandfather, he had 100 acres. And then people go, well, what happened? We don't know. We don't have none of it but 1 acre left now. That's because they believed a will or no will. And of course, the state says, well, go to court. And then people can't pay their lawyers. They can't pay the court. Then they say, well, I guess we'll have to take some of that from you. That's how it happened over all these years, and it continues to happen to this day. So, Mike Jones is here. It's Saturday night. The SSN Nation Saturday night special. Welcome, Mike Jones, to tonight's special edition. Thank you so much for being in the house. I love the thumbs up. Thank you so much. I rarely have run live streams on a Saturday night, but it's wealth building tonight. Time to get it done. Hard work is necessary, and weakness won't cut it. Thank you so much, Mike Jones. Very, very happy to see you in the house. So once again, this is only going to be a short video tonight, this live stream. I just want to be out there. You guys, I haven't forgotten about you. We're going to be in the DR next week, and we have business to discuss over there. Once again, as you guys know, I have my business, SSN Lifestyle SRL in the DR. And of course, we always looking for real estate deals. There's a real estate deal that I have to go check out, Jardines. It's not in the best neighborhood, and it's cheap for a reason. When somebody says, hold on, I can use my phone right now. Hold on a second. Let me show you guys something. Let me go read this, because this is one of the reasons I'm going over there. Because of this, we have a person from Joe Nay from SSN Nation actually purchased over here at Jardines. I know where it is. I never talked about it. I did a video about Jardines, of course, because it's investment. $50,000 and $60,000 for 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms. Of course, that's a great deal. But once I found out it's up near Christopher, I went to Christopher. That's not a great neighborhood. 5 years ago. So they've been working hard at it. And Jardines has Jardines 3 and 4. It's all over there. They have a free shuttle. The free shuttle I'm interested in because the rule of law is upscale luxury. Well, this is no upscale luxury. But if I can buy something for 50, 60,000, and I can rent it out at least 50%, I can get double digit returns, 10% or more returns. The thing is, if you do gentrification, which it happens, there's no way, even I'm down with it or not down with it, that it's not going to stop because wealth building requires you to buy low, sell high. So if it's a bad neighborhood, of course, the values are lower. So of course, the wealthy are going to say, well, thank you very much. I can buy over here, flip that, change the neighborhood, and now my value has doubled or quadrupled just simply because I bought over here when everything was garbage. And then when it's not garbage, I make a lot more money and I get to buy at a lower price. And that's what we're talking about here with Jardines. Again, I talked about it, but again, you guys know my policy, upscale luxury, because that's the way to see that you make more money on the upper end, because just like 80% of the population is living paycheck to paycheck right now, that 20% still has money. But 20% that have money, they're not going to stay in the hood. They're just going to go up. I'll just pay $500 a night and all inclusive and at the beach and be comfortable. Why am I going to go over here and stay for 50, 60, $100 per night when I don't have to? Ordinary citizens who are living paycheck to paycheck, they may say, okay, I'm going to stay over here because I can only afford $40, $50 per night. Let's go see what that looks like. Well, you merged the best of both worlds. So that's why I have to go over and see Jardines. Because one of the things, like I mentioned, was they have a free shuttle. It's operating right now. I got to come and verify because there's nobody that's ever done this. What's the HOA is going to be the question. And they say, oh, it's only $100 or $80 a month. Does that include the free shuttle? The free shuttle, all I care about is I need you to go downtown. I need you to go to the shopping center, grocery store area. I need you to be able to take me to the beach. And there may be some other place I need you to take me. Because if I'm going to stay over here in the hood, I'm not getting a rental car. I'm telling you that right now. You don't know the condition of that rental car night in and night out if you're there for a week. But you are behind gated community. But still, I don't care. That does not hold weight when it starts getting dark and people can jump fences. All right, let's just get real. Now, these are the type of things that you have to do, ladies and gentlemen. Think about it. Think about it. Mike Jones, he says, good to see you, brother. Thank you. Been off the grid for a while. I can't blame you, man. Glad to see you're back. So thank you so much for being here, man. Like I said, very nice to see you once again. Tamara Larry, another of SSN Nation investors, is in the house. I was surprised to see the SSN Nation tonight. I know, Tamara. I know. And I'm going to see you next week in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. One of the investors is here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here on the SSN Nation Saturday night special. Because I didn't have Friday night, because I didn't have Wednesday night, I felt I had to do at least a live stream to recover and let you guys know time to get to wealth building. And once again, hard work is going to be required. So your weakness is not going to work. You're going to have to be the dog. You're going to have to be the top dog. You're going to have to be the one that's out here. And by the way, I'm here to assist. You guys can always hit me up in the comments section. You can always hit me up at support@stopstrugglingnow.com. You can always find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube. Make the comments. We're here to help you. And guess what else? Because I think wealth building is so important for everybody, we don't have courses. I don't charge you nothing. You just got to email me and I'll answer the questions. We're not doing none of this mentoring program. I'm mentoring right now. All right. Just to be excited a little bit. All right. Here we go. Good to see you, brother. I've been off grid in a while. Hey, man. Thank you once again. Very, very happy. So now the time to get back into it, because we all have 1 year, 7 months after the mayhem. You have 1 year, 7 months to get your credit right. So down below in the description box, I have your credit. You can download self credit to improve your credit. You can download Credit Strong. You can download Smart Credit Monitoring System, which also helps improve your credit because it has things in there that tells you the best time of the month to pay for whichever creditor you have. So that can improve your credit. And also Debt Resolution by our girl Tracy, the woman Tracy. Tracy, Tracy at resolvefinance.com. The links are all down below in the description box. We're not hiding. Tracy at Resolve Finance, and you better tell her you're from SSN Nation. You better let her know. She's familiar. All right? That's how we do it out here, ladies and gentlemen. We make sure you get in position to win. Because after this next 1 year and 7 months, I'm out. I'm out. I got 1 year and 11 months, but I'm letting you know after 1 year and 7, all I can do is sit here and say, see, guys, you're in position, because really things are going to hit the fan at about 2 years. So you'll be ahead of the game. You'll be ahead of the curve. So don't worry. But that's why time is of the essence. Brian P. is here. Mr. Dividend is in the house. And I know yesterday you were doing the salsa dance. Did you see that SMCY? Did you see those dividends that they were putting out for the price of their stocks? $16, $17, $18 price tag for a stock that's giving out like $1.50 to $2.30 per share. 1 month. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Getting 10% in 1 month or 8% in 1 month is awesome. And imagine this, you're getting another percentage next month. So can you believe that somebody could actually get like 30, 40, 50% return on their money annually? But Brian P. does. That's why he owns thousands of shares with Max ETFs, ladies and gentlemen. And welcome to the SSN Nation Saturday night special edition. And he says, happy day, Eric. I hope all is well with you. Thank you so much. All is well with me. Hopefully all is well with you and your family. Happy day, SSN family. Smash that like button. That's right. Give it a 1 piece. We are making money in here. And you were doing the salsa dance yesterday, just like me. I was sitting there in the overwall. I went and told people what was happening. You got to get in the game. Good to see you, Eric. Thank you so much, Brian P. Good evening, everyone. EV Place, another investor is here. Very happy to see you too. Welcome to the SSN Nation Saturday Night Live edition, the short-term edition. 1 hour and about 10 to 15 minutes is all we're going to do tonight. But I'm very, very happy to see everybody here because tonight's topic, time to go to the wealth building bridge. Hard work is required and weakness won't do. You can't be scared out here no more. You can be scared, but don't worry. You can always hit me up, ladies and gentlemen, because I haven't been scared for a long time. I've been slaying dragons for the last 40 years, so I don't worry about anything like this. BTC is up 104, and thank you so much for mentioning this. We used to talk about it. About a year and a half ago, we started with the buy BTC, buy ETH, forget everything else. Well, just a little bit will do you. That's all you had to do. Now look, back over 100,000. ETH is over 2,300. Could it drop back down? Sure. Can it go up? Yes, it can. So you should be in it a little, just like gold and silver, copper, platinum, palladium, just a little will do you. Because there's no money coming back unless you sell it. So again, thank you so much, Brian P., for that notification. Yes, exactly. Here we are, SMCY and Mara. That's right, plus 10% value. I've told you last week. Exactly, you did, EV Place. And by the way, I got me some Mara because of you. And SMCY, we've always had that for a while because they give out great dividends. The stock price went down to under $17. So dollar cost average is coming down as well. So I love when dollar cost average is coming down. And because they do semiconductors and that there's a lot of volatility, so there's a lot of option trading going on, the shorting and puts and calls and all this other thing. Premiums have to be paid. All that's happening. And we're receiving dividends from all those trades. And this particular time, over 10%. I know, incredible, incredible. when you think about it. The stock price, like I said, is only $17. And I swear, I wish I had, let me go see if I can find yesterday's. I think it was something crazy, along with MSTY, which is not weekly, but MSTY was crazy as well per share of stock. So just letting you know, uh, very very nice EV place that you mentioned, Mara, last week. Again, this was like 10 days ago. You mentioned Mara, and you gave everybody heads up. So there it is. MSTY was $2.37 per share. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, it's $23 a share for MSTY, ladies and gentlemen. It's roughly around there. So it's 10% in 1 month. And these come out monthly. Most people would have been happy for $2.37 for the year on a $23 stock. Imagine getting that in 1 month. Oh my goodness. What opportunities have arisen here? All right, here we go. Brian P. He's studying. He wants his wealth building to go. That's why he can leave out and give us some information like this. Virtual protocol, crypto, plus 350. I heard about virtual protocol. That was very, very interesting. Yes, and it went up crazy. ETH is over 2,500 now. Damn, 30% in a week. Well, we told everybody this a year and a half ago. We said BTC and ETH. So if you got a little bit back then and a little bit back then and a little bit, you would be fine right now. What can I tell you, ladies and gentlemen? But the big winner for Friday is MSTY. You ain't lying, man. Dividend at my price in last month plus 15%. I know. I'm like you, man. My dollar cost average is in the $19 range. So I'm with you. I'm in that same thing. I'm just like, when it dropped that time and it went down to 19 something, it might even went down to 18. My dollar cost average was brought down under 20. So it's 19 something. So when we get a dividend, such as, I'll do it right now. Was it $2.37? So I think it's 1982, something like that. So I'll put in 1982 because I don't remember off the top of my head, but $19. I mean, sorry, it's $2.37. This is how you figure out your percentage. $2.37 is your profit. Then you divide that by how much you spent. So in this case, we divide that by $19.82, and that is 11.9%. That's what my dollar cost average this month, 11.9% in this month. And MSTY is going to give out dividends next month. And because of the way things are going for MicroStrategy and doing the option income, and because Bitcoin went up to 104, I believe we're going to see another $2 dividend disbursement because of the way crypto has been going. So this is what we're talking about here, ladies and gentlemen. So I get 11.9. We can round up and make it nice, sound even better. 12% just this month. And the dollar cost of the stock is $23. So you're positive on the stock itself, which is awfully great for a distribution stock. This is crazy. Crazy. Oh, PLTY. Here we go. Is paying this month $4.37. PLTY went from $55 up to $66, $67. So you're winning on the appreciation of the stock, which is Pelletier. And again, this is PLTY. It's a YieldMax ETF. So that means it's given that option income disbursement. And the Pelletier, PLTR, which is what they're doing the option income on, that is rising in price as well. So you're getting the best of both worlds. Now, the 4.37 per share, that is crazy. That is crazy. That is real crazy. So 4.37. And now my dollar cost average is like 55. But if you bought right now and it was $66, you're still at 6.6%. This month, imagine if it's 6.6% next month. Imagine if you could average 5% a month, lower than that, right? That's 60%, ladies and gentlemen. And the stock prices are hovering about the same or rises. That's a win. That's a big win. Huge win. It's in 2 weeks. Oh, wow. Wow. Nice. I didn't even see that far out. Coming up. Very good to know. I got to get some PLTY. Oh, yeah, man. It's at 66, 67, man. Like I said, it went up in less than a month, about $10, $11 per share. It's crazy. Crazy. My PLTY average is around 56. Yep. Agreed. That's where mine's at. 55 something. Same thing, 55, 56, whatever. It's still in the same ballpark. So we're doing about the same. So if you can get 70% annually or 60% annually and the stock price just goes up a little bit, I'll take the dividends and the stock price going up a little bit. In this case, though, the stock price has risen almost 20% for me and for PLTY because it's like I said, it's at 66 or 67 right now and rising. And it could rise even more. This is why wealth building right now is even easier via the stock market because Jerome Powell has come out this past week and he says they're still going to cut interest rates. So that means the market is still positive because they know as soon as they cut interest rates, it's a party out here. They don't even need tax cuts and tax breaks to make this happen. They just need Jerome Powell to step up to the mic in the next 3 months, which he will do, and say, we're going to cut the interest rate 0.25. And then the stock market's off because they know 3 to 4 months after that, another rate cut's coming, and it's just going to do this. And you have to be in it. You cannot sit idly by. So you're going to study, and study some more. But you can't sit on the sidelines and not get in on 10 to 20 to 50% on your money annually or more. It's insane. LFGY is 75 cents. Yes, that's very interesting because that stock price is over 30. So even though they give a nice payout, it's like it's like you get underwhelmed. I think it's 33. I think it's somewhere in that ballpark, but 0.75 divided by, I'll just say 33. Actually, it's more than that, come to think of it. I think isn't it like 4? No, it's 35, I think. I'll divide it by 35. It might even be 38. I don't remember. But even then, at $35 a share, that's 2%, ladies and gentlemen. See, this is what I'm trying to get you to understand. If it's 2% this week, and next week it's 1%, and then the next week it's another 2%, you're getting 6 or 7% per month. Do you understand? 6 or 7% per month ends up being 60 to 70%. You're almost doubling your money within 1 year. And you might be, because you're doing reinvestments, or should be doing reinvestments to get some more shares. That is very powerful. All right, TSLY plus 8% from the time we were talking about new Model Q last week. Exactly. Brian P, thank you. LFGY is 39.75, so it's about 1.6, 1.8%. And EV Place last week, we were talking about this. If you miss our live streams, ladies and gentlemen, this is why you need a pen, pad, and paper, because EV Place was talking about CVNY. Carvana, of all things, is giving off a 10%. I mean, it's insane. I have 240 shares. Of course, Brian P, you do. Mr. Dividend, of course. He says, thank you very much. I'll take that $200 or $175, $200 this week. And then what's next week going to be? Another 100, another 150. You never know, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm pretty sure a lot of you wouldn't mind a couple $100 or $400 or $500 or $600 per month in dividends, would you? Okay. Yep, LFGY. I figured that's what you were referring to. Thank you so much, man. Just so you clarify for everybody. But again, this is what we're talking about. Time to get to wealth building. You have no choice. And I'm going to end this live stream here shortly. But I want to thank everybody for being in the house. And weakness won't do. You're going to have to go out of your comfort zone if you want to partake in wealth building in 2025 and 2026. Because what you have known, what you have seen in books will not help you, will not save you. You're going to have to do the damn thing and learn going along for the ride. All right, ULTY, another one that's weekly, another one that's giving great. Let me see. Okay, that was 4.9, not 5.9. What happened? Oh, May. No wonder I can't get it. I put in March. That's why I couldn't get this week's dividend payout schedule. Okay. Here we go. May 7th, Global News Wire. There we go. Now we're talking. Let me get on the same page so I can show everybody once again in case you joined us late. Just so you can see I'm not BSing here. We don't BS you guys around here. We show you the deal. Check this out. Here we go. This is May 9th, May 7th, but May 9th distributions. This is what he's talking about. See LFGY right here, 75.11. Here we go. ULTY, 11.8. You know what? 11, that's almost 12 cents. Their stock price is like under $6. I mean, this is crazy right now. So it's like, how can you, let me go look at this point. What is that? 11. I'll use 1181 divided by, I think it's like $5.75 or something. Maybe even $6. But anyhow, I'll use 575. Look at that. 2%, ladies and gentlemen, in a week. In 1 week. Most people would take 2% per month and be happy with their 25%, 24% return. Imagine if you can get 1 to 2% a week. And at the end of a month, you get 6 or 5%. And so most people would say, thank you very much. What's the stock price? Well, your dollar cost average would come down if you reinvest, if the stock price is lower. But look at here, they're saying it's 103% return. See, this is what we're talking about here, ladies and gentlemen. So what you're trying to do, if you're messing around with YOMAX ETF, you're trying to hope that the stock price stays the same or goes a little higher, or even if it goes a little under. But if you can get like an MSTY at $2.37 plus, and you can get 125% distribution, and the stock price stays the same, that means you doubled your money and a half. This is crazy. Of course, this is based on reinvesting, of course. But that's crazy. SMCY, if you can get that stay the same and you can get 100%, look at that. Is that insane? Is this insane, ladies and gentlemen? Is this insane or what? Look at this crazy stuff. This is what millionaires do. Right? Look at this. This is something shorting MicroStrategy. MSTR is MicroStrategy, which is why MSTR, option income strategy, which is Misty, as I call it. And then you have this one, WNTR, which is shorting, but they still gave $2.70 with an 85 distribution, and people are shorting. And because they're shorting, there's money made in the options and fees and premiums for shorting, right? People pay to short. Just go. I like something from, where was it? Robinhood, I think. They started with the options on Robinhood now. So you could actually go in. I learned something new because I don't do option trading. I was like, oh, this is easy. Well, not easy. I shouldn't say that. But what I mean is you can understand it once you see how it works. You can tap on it. You can actually see they're saying like, well, this is $3 for something that's crazy. And then you got to pay $3 times, what is it, 10? Or 100, I think it's 10 times 10, something like that. So it'd be $30 to have that. And then that gives you the option to buy at this price later. Here's what happens. If the stock goes up or above that price, then that means your option becomes more valuable because people will say, okay, I'll buy your option at that lower price because the price now is $10 more per share. But now you get a lot more money per share based on 100 shares. So if the stock price goes up $20 more and you have 100 shares, there you go. $2,000 less your fees. So that's where people do a lot of option trading, which is also risky as well. But nonetheless, just letting you guys know, day traders lose on average. All day traders combined, 95% are losers. Just so you guys know. Okay, so that's why I don't really care about people saying I do this and that. I'm just letting you know what they're making money from. So if shorting, they can make money. because that's an option. They're doing options, right? So you understand shorting 100. I don't know the NASDAQ 100. They're shorting again, 43 cents for the YQQQ. But nonetheless, you guys understand what I'm saying. I hope this is why you have to be in the game. You got to be in the game where the big boys play. If you want to be part of the big boy club, you're in the right place. All right. By Jones. Woo. 100% in a year each. Yes. EV place. 100% in a year still in reach. Exactly. It's in reach, man. It's in reach. Woo, says Mike Jones. Exactly. Welcome back, Mike Jones. See what you've been missing, man? Keep an eye on expenses on each Max ETF. Some went up. Yes, EV place. Yes. Hey, but riddle me this. If you're getting 2% per month, does the expenses really matter? If they're giving you dividend money as 2%, they're taking out the expenses. Imagine if they didn't have the freaking 4% or 3% or 5% expenses. Imagine how much more money would be distributed to the dividend holders. But again, I'm not mad, because if you're telling me, Eric, I'm going to give you 2%, I'm going to give you 4%, I'm going to give you 6% per month, I'm like, you're damn right. Give up the 60% or 50% or 25%. You can keep your money. You're doing a damn good job. They're making a lot of money. We're making a lot of money. This is called a win-win in my book. Let me know if you see it differently, EV Place. Let me know if you see it differently, because I like to hear other people's perspectives when they start talking about expenses. It doesn't matter for me, but I like to be precise on my numbers. EV Place, exactly the word is right, precise on the numbers. This is why we have to discuss this, because again, remember, this option income trading is not based on the stock itself. So what oftentimes happens is it's perceived. If there's a downturn in the option income trading and there's not much movement, then the Yield Max ETF stock could go down. So if the stock goes down 20% and you make 50%, your net is not 50%, right? It changed. That's why you have to pay attention. And that's why I always say I like to look at MSTY. I like to look at even ULTY right now, because their pricing is stable. I want stable. If you're going to give me 25 or 50% or 70 or 100, I want to see if that's stable enough and we don't have a drop of 50 to 70%, and you're giving me 80% and we have a net of 10. Okay, we're still kind of cool, but I'd rather be a net of 30, 50, 70% if possible, right? So I love talking about that, EV Place. That's what investors do. We talk. Iron sharpens iron. EV Place. I can even share 30% with government and still do the salsa dance. Exactly, EV Place. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly what we're talking about out here, because we're making it so much on the other side. And let's face facts. If somebody says, okay, you earned an extra $2,000 from the stock for the year, and they say, okay, you got to give us $600. You didn't have to work for it. All you had to do was do a little bit of research. You're still making more money this year because you reinvested it. You didn't even really take it out, and you're still going to pay them. But again, I'm with EV Place. I have no problem by sitting here putting money into something, and they say, hey, Eric, you're 75% on your money. And then I say, okay, well, I only put in 1,000. Oh, this is great. I made $750. And then Uncle Sam says, well, Eric, you know what? We got to tax you. And it's not 30%, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. It's lower than that. But I'll use 30% as an example. 750 times 0.3, 225. So somebody says, okay, you did 750 minus 225. So you leave with $525 on $1,000 investment. Are you going to be upset, ladies and gentlemen? I'm hoping you say hell no. Because if somebody told you for every 1,000 that they can get $500 back, you'd be saying, what drug game are you in? And if somebody told you that you can put in 100 and you can get 50 after taxes, if you put in 100,000, you can get 50,000 after taxes, and you didn't have to do anything. I think a lot of people will be very, very happy with that. In fact, I know people will, because people I work with that had a 401k and they said, "Oh, here's 9%." They were all salsa dancing at the end of the year. And I'm like, "What are you guys doing a salsa dance? 9%? And you're doing all this crazy talk?" So then I would have to bring in my stuff and I'd be like, so if you think 9% is cool, what do you think about 15? And they're like, "No, you can't get 15." That's what they would tell me. "No, you couldn't have gotten 15. Nah. I'd bring in my stuff. "Oh, really? Here's my stuff." They're like, "Wait, you don't invest in a 401k for the company?" I said, "No, I invest in my 401k. What do you mean? My brokerage account 401k. This is where my money goes to. I don't like 9%. I like 15 though. Annually, we're talking about, right? So people are salsa dancing over 9%, 7%, 6% and being happy. And that doesn't even beat inflation. Shadowstats.com. Go check it out. That's the real inflation. Shadowstats.com. Our inflation we use today is a lie. All right? Just so you guys understand. We are making money in here. That's right, Brian P. That's what we do here. Exactly. With your contributions as well. Thank you so much, because you're the one that was mentioning YieldMax ETFs 2.5 years ago. I didn't get into it after I had to check it out for about 5 months. And I was like, "Oh my God, this is working." And post-retirement travel mentioned YieldMax ETFs 2.5 years ago as well. They were the only two at the time. And that's when they busted out with some of their first ETFs. And then I waited 6 months before I got it, because I was like, "Man, let me study this a little bit. Let me see if this is even viable." Because what would happen is a stock could come out at $50 a share. And because they're distributing much of the cash back as dividends, their stock price would drop 20%, even though they're giving out 80%. You see, this is the kind of thing that was going on. And so I was like, well, let me see if we can find something that's stable. And so I held off before I did anything, because I couldn't see anything real stable. A few are stable, which I figure, like I told you, MSTY I like. SMCY is not really stable, but they give off over 100% in distribution. So if we go down 30% and they give out 100%, I'm still at 50, I'll take it, because that's a lot of dividend money that they're giving out. So I'll take it. Okay, here we go. I have YieldMax in my Roth IRA. There we go, Brian P. Very, very smart man. There we go. Very smart strategy there, because when you withdraw tax-free money from a Roth IRA, there you go. Very good move there. EV Place, I'm happy. I didn't know last year. I bought some in 52 weeks low. Exactly, EV Place. Hey, 52 weeks low just happened. Again, because of what happened 3 to 4 weeks ago, stocks were at 52-week lows. YieldMax ETFs were at 52-week lows. You should have been buying. We were here talking about it. We were doing the salsa dance. I was saying buy, buy, buy. I was giddy. I was overly ecstatic to see ordinary citizens can actually win. So EV Place, bought at the right time. IWMY also comes up. It was about 2% as well this week. 0.24 cents per share, and their stock price is around 24 cents as well, as I recall. So, in fact, I'll just go look it up, because that's easy enough. IWMY is a Defiance Group, and let's go look. It's isn't it 23? I think. Let's go look it up. It's I could have 24. It was down. Yeah, it was down in the 23s on Friday. 24. So yeah, if we're talking about that type of return, you gotta love it. Look at that, 24 cents per share. You get, what is that, 1%? Yeah, it's 1%. So I'll just, let me go 0.24 divided by 24, 1%. So again, this is 1% on a weekly stock. So most people would say, if I can get 4% per month, 48% a year, the stock price goes down 20 or 10, you'll take it, right? I'll take it. I love it. This week, exactly, Brian P. Goodbye. Yes, I agree. I've made 12.3% last month on Max. Exactly. I have 420 shares. Wow. Wow. Max. That's Max he's talking about. Exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And these stocks are like under $10. The Max, the Mag, the Max, Mag, and ULTY. Again, incredible. Incredible. MSTY, SMCY are great deals. SMCY is volatile, so their stock prices dropped. But if they're giving out freaking 6, 7, 8% a month, I can live with that drop. Because every 2 months is 12%. Their stock price dropped 12. But see, I'll live with that because I'm still getting more shares of stock and I'm increasing the dollar cost average down. So that means the dividend values go up. It's a fine line, but this is why you have to pay attention and understand what you're investing in if that's your strategy. That's my strategy. EV Play strategy, Brian P's strategy, post-retirement travel, just posted up on his Instagram. He was over at the Notre Dame Cathedral. Notre Dame Cathedral over in France. He was there. Beautiful. Again, my mom used to rave about things in the EU. She would be like Notre Dame Cathedral, the Basilica, the Vatican, Spain bullfights. Man, she loved the EU. Nice. Exactly. Exactly. We're loving it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap this up this evening. You can still have time to come join me in the Punta Cana region, Punta Cana Investors Forum. Get your tickets right now, SSN Nation at StopStrugglingNow.com or SSNLifestyle.com. You can still get your tickets. You can come join me on May 13th, 14th, 15th. And Airbnbs are cheap, and we're going to find out. All right, the wealth building will continue. All right, we're going to be talking about trust because I'm going to have I'm going to have something sent to me. Our friend Darcy doesn't have the time, but she's going to send me a template. I'm going to share the template. Right. So whatever you want to happen, you write down your details, right? You say, hey, I'm going to leave this car or I'm going to leave this money, but I'm going to leave this money, but the person can't get the money unless they go to college and have a degree. There you go. You're dictating everything that you want in your trust. All right. So just keep that in mind. It's that simple, really. But I've never done one. And so now I'm going to do one. And so I'm going to go by the hands-on approach, even though there's a lot of people right now that want to do trust $6.99. You'll see it on Facebook and $7.99. Come to our thing and $8.99 or $1,000. There's a lot of that going on right now. But hey, I always like educating myself, learning, and if I can do it myself, which now I understand I can. But again, there's nothing wrong with doing it yourself and then having a lawyer look at it. They may have a twist, but I mean, that's going to cost you money. But nonetheless, hey, it's worth professional eyes to be on some things. EV Plays, from my experience, the best day to buy Max is Tuesday, first after monthly dividend pay. Exactly. You're right about that. Check out your emails. Okay. Oh, yeah, we're on my computer now. Hold on a second. Now that I'm at home and I have Wi-Fi, that I don't have to be on my phone and try to make it happen, we can go look at something when you get time. Bitcoin going up, SSN. Cornell Denson. Say date. What is in the house, cuz? Welcome to the SSN Nation Saturday Night Live. Bitcoin going up, SSN. Exactly, man. 104 is what they're saying tonight. A little bit of do you remember? We've been talking about just get a little bit last year. Just get a little bit of BTC last year, the year before. Get a little bit of ETH. You don't need a lot, just a little. All right. Well, everybody, a little gold, a little silver, a little brass. And I don't mean brass as in brass from the ground. I mean brass as that goes in a gun. All right. That kind of brass is what I'm talking about. The way things are going, you're going to have to protect yourself and watch your back out here. All right. That's harmful rhetoric. That's why we're not monetized anymore. All right. So I want to thank everybody for being in the house once again. And Monday, I'll see you Monday night, but I'll be live from the DR in the heat. All right. So that's how we do it. BTC dominance starts to drop. Get some altcoins. There you go. There you go. You can always get some altcoins, but I like to stay with BTC and ETH. That's about the only way we're doing this right now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you do what tonight's topic says. Time to get wealth building. I have some links down below that can help you with your finance. I need you to have a credit score of a 775 or up in 1 year and 7 months. You'll thank me later because then you'll be able to make some moves that other people can't make. Because 80% of the population will be tapped out and they won't be able to use credit. Therefore, only a certain amount of people, the top 20% with good credit ratings, will be able to buy things on credit that's going to be cheap asset purchases. Assets pay us. That's what we call an asset, ladies and gentlemen. If you're buying something that doesn't pay you, that's not an asset. That's why a house is not an asset, because you're not getting anything back if you live in it. You're paying out. So you need an asset to pay for the house. Hopefully that clarifies the situation here. Hard work is going to be required. So get on it, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Don't sit back. You got 1 year, 7 months to get everything in order, and I'm here all for it. I'm here for it. I'll help you guys. Make sure you talk to me, live streams, comment section. So you can hit me up with emails. It does not matter. But share the videos. And I love you guys very much. I appreciate your support over all these years. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And I know it's hard out here. And that's why we have to come up with plans. I'm giving you a few. We have plans for you here. But don't be shy. It's hard work to be a superstar. It's hard work to be successful. You can't just sit on the sidelines and clap your hands and think you're going to be successful. This ain't trust fund kids' day. So you can squander the family fortune away. You got to study. You have to learn. You can't be shy, and we all make mistakes when we're learning, when we're doing it. It's not 100%, so you can't be afraid to fail. You should be afraid of not trying, because that way you lock yourself in a box with no way out. Thanks, says E.V. Place. Thank you, man. And with all that said, watch your back. Make sure you're safe for you and your family. But above all, make sure you keep your head up. Keep moving. And I'm out.